Hello and welcome back to another very special episode of Tone-Wise Productions. Today I'm joined with a longtime friend of mine and a fantastic builder, Mr. Nick Lombardo. And these lovely beauties behind him are his amps that we're going to check out today. Let's get into it. All right, well, we're going to have Nick run through his creations here. I'm going to play a little bit. He's going to talk about the wonderful work he does with Luscious Amplification. And yeah, let's check it out.
Hello there, people. So yes, I built these amps. This here is the Luscious nonsense, and it has a lot of nonsense going on in it. It's got big tube-driven reverb, harmonic tremolo. It's got an EQ, like a double style, mid boost, bass boost, both tube and solid state rectification switch in the back. It's, like I said, it's a lot of nonsense. And over here we have, I call it the Luscious Voxy. It's a pretty much like a Vox amp. It also has reverb and tremolo, and yeah, they pretty good. And Cody here is going to try them out.
Yeah. Let's check out the nonsense first here. We're going from my PRS. It's going through my board, but nothing's on. And then we're going to the nonsense, and then out into a 212 open back sim in the UA Audio Aux. All right, so what do we got for settings right now? Where are we at?
So you got some reverb. We can put on the tremolo for you.
We were playing these before we started to get a feel of them and everything, and the harmonic tremolo in this is just such a cool design. And it's one of those things, like, I'm a sucker for univibes, as pretty much everyone who watches this channel knows, and it's really got that same kind of chew to it. You were saying it was a really tough circuit to put together for this?
It was. There was a lot of parasitic oscillation, a lot of noise going on. I had to change my lead dress and all that to get it more quiet, and like I said, it took a while. I don't know if I'll build another one, but
nonetheless, though, I mean, just how do you not love that? Cleans up really well too. Now, how many watts is this one?
Oh, let's see. A little under, probably 50 watts or so. Yep.
So plenty of headroom.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Two 6L6s. Like I said, you know, when you got the tube-driven rectification, more sag, and then when you go to solid state, it's a little bit more tighter.
Well, yeah, let's check that out, and maybe kill the tremolo and try and check that out.
Yep. We're in tube rectification.
Is it in tube right now?
It's in, actually, I just switched to solid state.
Solid state, yeah. So the solid state, you'll notice if anybody's ever seen the difference between amps, and I don't know it from a building perspective, but as a player's perspective, and it's the reason this one stays at the solid state as well, is tube rectification can give you a bit more sag, which is really cool from a compression standpoint, if that's what you're into, but I like immediacy in a lot of the notes I play. And that's the beauty of solid state rectification typically, is that there's a little more bounce you feel. You kind of feel the amp like sag and compress underneath your playing, which is really good for like Yeah, I think some dirtier stuff sounds great with some
Yeah.
rectification, especially if you're really pushing the front end of an amp, in my opinion. But the solid state rectification has that immediacy where, like, I don't look for the sag on the input of an amp. Like, I like power amp compression quite a bit when you turn an amp up. I think that sounds great, especially driven, with a little boost from the pedal. But actually getting that sag from the preamp stages, I find a little tougher to play on from my end. So that's really cool. I mean, I love this.
You actually had no EQ, actually no treble, mid, or bass. We had a little bass boost. Now I'll pull this out. Now we'll have treble, mid, and bass control.
It's really like it's wild, like how full it sounds like before. Like there's definitely a lot of low end.
Yeah.
Before you brought in the EQ, and it's amazing how much you can actually thin out and really bring out the top end on that. Like the EQ range is pretty wide, I would say, on this one.
Oh yes.
Which is really cool. I mean, especially from a player's perspective, if you're trying to lay down like a couple different tracks, you're looking for something tonally different on each side. To make a more cohesive sound. It's tough, if you ever layer a bunch of guitar parts over each other. If they're all the same tone, they end up sounding muddy. And it's nice to be able to really have a large range of tonal variety in one amp, which is really cool with this one. What other tricks you got in here? Anything else? Anything else fun hiding out?
That's pretty much it. There's a local negative feedback switch back here, but.
Why don't we bring the gain up a bit on it? Let's see what the high end sounds like.
All right.
That's a killer sound. Sweet. All right, so we'll take a break, rewire all this stuff real quick, change a few knobs and settings, and we'll come back with the Luscious Voxy in a moment. Alrighty, we're back at it again, this time with the Luscious Voxy, and I'll let Nick run us through what's going on here.
So yeah, this amp here, it's got like a Vox style to it. It's also got like a Marshall 18-watt power section, and also it's tremolo, and then it's got reverb in it. So I'll let Cody here go at it, and we'll play around with the knobs.
Now we got it set pretty clean just to start with, so we have range for the gain. But this is definitely on quite the low side, given the wattage of this amp. It'll
break up. Yeah.
is much more your classic, like either Vox or like Fender style tremolo kind of layout.
This is actually Marshall tremolo. It's
now, is that off the early JMPs that had it?
Yes, this one was more. I actually found this through Mojo Tone's 18-watt kit. I found this circuit.
Cool.
It's a very interesting tremolo. It's very different than your normal Fender circuit that you see like in deluxes and twin reverbs, which is the photocell.
Which have a much harder blink in my mind. Like it's a much harder on-off effect with a Fender.
This is working off the bias of a preamp tube.
Okay.
For the modulation, compared to like on a Princeton, which is the power tubes, the bias modulation tremolo.
Cool. This seems to have a much more like rounder swell to it, which is what I dig. Like it doesn't really go all the way off. It seems to kind of, it's a more subtle wave on it, which is really... swampy kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Very CCR feeling thing, which is really cool. Bring the gain up a little bit on it.
Yep.
So this thing is a fire breather when it gets all the way up. We were playing with it before, and this is a lot of... Still a great cleanup, though.
Yep. Like the Vox, it has a cut knob on it, which I turned all the way down, which so you're getting that.
The top end bite of like a Voxy circuit. It's just got that good, like that high end, like just short of being ice picky. You know, they're very good to cut through the mix of like a band setting, I find.
Yes.
That's cool. Now, how you were doing that thing with the dwell circuit on this one before, weren't you? With the reverb.
Yes.
We can kind of defeat it and then just do the dwell.
Yeah. So we can take the volume completely out of the EQ, and then the reverb. You can kind of hear the reverb.
Which is just such a cool effect. I mean, it's useless in most situations, but it's one of those things that is fantastic for that one little bit where you need it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see just the wet signal come through on the back side of it.
Yeah.
So do they mix in parallel then? Like if you're defeating the volume, is the reverb circuit?
It's like it's on its own. It's like its own little amp in there too.
Yeah.
It's set up.
Which is just great. I feel it makes the reverb sit a little better too. With the actual sound. Yeah, that's got a great sound to it. And still, like, even like we're at like a good amount of gain right now. Rolling it back. Which is, it's not impossible, but a lot of smaller wattage amplification, I find the cleanup is tough to find once you get to a certain gain stage on something.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
like you saw, we barely just had it. Like we had it like right over there, and it was, and that's just clean. And once you start, it starts to break up.
Yeah, it comes on thick and heavy with this for sure. That's you know the nature of the wattage. But why don't we give it a little more volume and test the top range?
Yeah.
Breaks up great too. I mean, the top end of that is, what more can you want? You know,
right.
From an AC1 amp. So one of my favorite things about a small wattage amp is that they sound huge in a recording space. Like it's tough to keep up with the drummer sometimes or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you're like in a recording environment, sometimes that's really all you need. Like this is great. 100 watts is awesome. Plexis are always cool, people. Plexis are always cool. I want you to remember that 100 watts is all you ever need in your life. But sometimes 18 watts is better. All right, you'll die. You'll die recording with this. You'll sound great with that at half the volume. Remember that. That's the important bit about a lower wattage amp. All right, you don't want to be deaf in your old age, or maybe you do. So go ahead and do that. But for most situations, this is. Done. I mean, what a good sound, dude. What a great amp. I mean, what a cool design, too, to take kind of the Vox end and the Marshall topography and kind of throwing it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really, really cool design. Like I said, we've known each other since 2006.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
Something like that. We go way back, and it's really cool to see him building all these and finally having him over to check all of these out. And I'm sure at some point when he's not, cranking away at his day job, he'll probably get around to building these more frequently. And if he does, I'll put a link down below somewhere. Do you have a website yet?
No.
No. So when we get to that, we'll add one in the bottom somewhere down here when he starts building full time. But I wanted to show these off. You know, it's always cool to show your friends' work, support other people. It's, you know, it's why we do this. I certainly don't do it for the money.
Right now it's just a hobby, a very expensive hobby, and that's why I got my normal day job to pay for this expensive hobby.
Yeah, you know, you got to start somewhere though, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wanted to take some time to just show off a friend's work and the awesome stuff he's doing. Again, Nick, Luscious Amplification. Thanks for coming, dude.
Yeah, great to be
here.
here. Yeah, good shit.
All right, until next time, this has been Tone Wise Productions.